Yeah, hi, and welcome again. Just want to sort of wrap up the week in regards to dealing with addictions and gambling. And thanks again for all the people that have reached out and, for the conversations we've been having. So, today I want to talk about how you recover from a gambling addiction and how do you stop this. The thing is, I think we've come to the understanding that when you are an addict to gambling, it stems from a state of mind and seeking external states and gratification. And the easiest way and simplest way to deal with that is to find some gratification in something else. So the first thing in if you're losing control in any situation is an old thing to do is to just stop and take a deep breath. Count to 10. Relax and stay calm. Take some deep breaths, yeah? Slow yourself down. So breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. Out again through your mouth for 6. Repeat that process a few times. You'll usually find that it calms you down. The next thing is to maybe try and distract yourself. Find yourself another activity. Go for a quick walk. Find something that's positive to do. I would generally tend to gear towards going for a walk. Look, the thing is this is about reconnecting yourself with a higher power. And for me, it's about reconnecting with a higher power, about living a life that is connected with my God. And in that, it fills that spiritual hole. It gives some clarity to who you are and what you're being. Can a gambler ever stop? Well, there's that thing that once an addict, always an addict. And what you'll tend to find in someone with a gambling addiction is they will have cross addictions. So whether drugs, sex, whatever it may be, they'll find themselves that they seek that external gratification. But I believe you can stop. Yeah, you may always have the addictive personality, but you don't necessarily always have to be a gambler. Gambling may be the problem, but it's that spiritual malady, that hole that creates it. So yes, a gambler definitely can stop. However, you will have to come to terms with the fact that you are an addict and you will have the tendency to steer towards addictive behaviors. So you'll need to find a way to deal with that tendency. But anything is achievable. The thing is, see, gambling is not a mental illness. Yeah, even the addiction to gambling may be, I wouldn't say that's a mental illness either. The tendency that you lean towards an external source for some gratification isn't even a mental illness. Moderately gambling isn't a problem. Yeah, it's when it's beyond that, when you're going above and beyond what was moderate, what is acceptable. And acceptable to each individual is different. So if you think something's acceptable, it might not be for the other person. But constantly gambling can be harmful to our mental health. And that's because we're seeking gratification again from the external source. Whereas if you get it from within or from a positive behavior or positive attachment, then it's not an issue. The issue here is about the attachment, and by becoming attached to gambling, then it can lead to mental health issues. How long will it take to get rid of a gambling addiction? It's a good question. Let's look at that for a moment. If it's a learnt behavior to seek something from an external source, then it's usually built up over a longer period of time. So you'll usually find a gambling addict would have been somebody who was addicted to sugars, or maybe somebody who's an alcoholic, or other things like that, you know, smokes too much weed or takes other drugs and just things like that. Most addicts would say that it could take around 12 months, and after that period of time they only have really gentle urges to gamble. My point is there always will be those triggers. No matter how long you've been in recovery, the triggers will always be there. And the beautiful thing about recovery is it's an ongoing process. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about the steps, but you know, you've got your what we call maintenance steps, which are, you know, constantly connecting with your higher power, meditation and prayer. And what that does is that tops up, that allows you to maintain your sobriety, so to speak. What I'm getting at here is if you've got that addictive personality, it will probably always be there. So ultimately your recovery is an ongoing process. It's something that, you know, you have to work on all the time. And it doesn't mean you have to do it every single day, but the beautiful thing is if you do it every day, it becomes a habit, which then becomes a behavior, becomes a habit, and then, you know, you've got an attachment to something that's positive, which is you connecting to your higher power and maintaining a cleansed, balanced life. Look, if you feel like maybe there is an issue there for yourself, and you know, you don't really know conclusively whether you're an addict or not, then try and cut down, try and stop for a while and just analyze your feelings. If you can stop and it's just fine with you, then it's probably not a problem. It's a problem when you want to stop and you're finding it difficult. It's a problem when you've got a restless feeling, the feeling that you need to do it. Yeah. If it's calling you and you're always fighting it, if you're constantly stopping yourself, then I would say then there maybe is an issue there. If you're trying to get back money that's been lost through gambling, by gambling more, then there's an issue. If you can't let it go, then it's an issue. And that's why this is about recovery, because in recovery, it is more about how you maintain. It's not just, okay, you know, like there's a certificate at the end, or it's a course where you do and that's it, done, no more work. It's an ongoing life process and a life decision. And it's by making it a life decision, it takes you on an opposing journey to addiction. So if, let's say, addiction is that way, recovery is the other way. So there will be no conflict. You are now on a spiritual recovery process rather than not. And that's why it's about maintaining and keeping going and doing things day in and day out and making the life decisions that you will do every single day, activities that you will do every single day. But believe you me, it's worth it. It really, really is. Look, guys, I want to thank you for checking me out again today. Tomorrow, I'm going to go through the steps in regards to recovering from a gambling addiction. And, you know, as of next week, we're going to look at another addiction. It'll be the final installation of Recovery with Ike on the Child of God. However, I will have other projects coming up in the near future, so please stay tuned. If you haven't already, click subscribe. And yeah, I look forward to speaking to you again tomorrow. God bless you all. Thank you.